Namaste, guys. ChristianRLong, Life Enhancement Consultant, giving you a big, beautiful shout out on this Saturday morning here in Denver, Colorado. It's 8 o'clock a.m. Mountain Time. We're jumping on for a daily dose of light, love, and power with the topic today on light, the light aspect of the soul. Now, this is one of the topics that I would say, honestly, I'm most passionate about because it is very near and dear to my heart. And no, it's not the love aspect, it's the light aspect. So when I was growing up in Massachusetts, Adrian, namaste. Yes, I am from Massachusetts. We have interesting names for people from Massachusetts, but the place where Harvard is and MIT and some of the major Ivy League schools throughout the world are in Massachusetts. And I grew up around a lot of intelligent people. People with photographic memories, people that could argue and debate with the best of them, people that got perfect scores on their SATs. But what I noticed as I was going through the schooling system in Rhode Island and in Massachusetts is that people were never taught how to think. And I'm talking generally speaking. We're never taught how to think. They weren't taught how to empathize with other people. So their mental body was constantly being stimulated. Their emotional body was constantly being suppressed. And a lot of the information that was being taught was completely irrelevant to living as a healthy, functional adult. And that actually bothered me. So I was the guy in class who would fight and argue with the teachers, not to be a distraction or to be irritating anybody, but I would ask the tough questions that nobody was asking. So you have what is known as metaphysics, which is the study beyond physical. It's beyond something. It's transcending something. So when you study metaphysics, let me give you an example. When you study, you have meditation, right? Meditation would be studying beyond meditation, would be studying meditations in and of themselves. If you had a meta study, it's the study of studying studies, right? So I would ask questions in the class not relevant to the topic, like let's say it was history or social studies or mathematics. I wouldn't be asking questions relative to the subject matter. I would be asking questions above the subject, right? And I'm like, why are we learning this? Why are we studying this? And so that's why I'm a big proponent when we talk about practical spirituality is like the information we acquire in our spiritual lives should be applicable to our day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month life. But how many people, when they're in high school or college, know any success principles, spiritual principles, know how to manage their households? Because what is home economics, right, has been made fun of for 30 or 40 years, but it's one of the most important classes because it's what we all have. We all have a household that needs to be managed, maintained, and increased in success, right? But the classes that are the most important are the ones that are kind of thrown under they're seen as electives. Namaste. The similar thing that would be with shop class. Shop class, where I came from, was seen as a joke, right? Like, here we go, we're going to learn how to make a birdhouse. But that's learning a physical trade that can earn you lots of income, that can add lots of value to you, your family, and your community, and it's seen as an elective. Gym, right? Gym is seen as an elective. Even if you notice, they cut out most gym programs in most schools around the United States because they don't see it as important. They don't see physical activity and keeping your physical body healthy and strong as important. The arts programs, those have been cut back, right? Which, what do the arts do? It develops so many different parts of your brain. It develops your hand-eye coordination. It allows you to tap into and connect to subtle energies through the fine arts of dance, music, poetry, etc. So, in my humble opinion, the education system in the United States and abroad, but I only know the United States, for the past 50 years has completely and utterly failed their students. Failed. So when I was 15 years old, I dropped out of high school. No, I dropped out of 8th grade. How did I drop? I'm trying to think of the actual order of. There's a lot going down in the Long family at that time. But I dropped out the last month of 8th grade. My father convinced me to go into my freshman year. I was basically a straight A student with almost no effort. So that should tell you something. Either I'm a brilliant mind, right? Or it's not challenging for students. So I was a straight A student who dropped out, went a little bit of my freshman year in high school, and then dropped out, worked for 2 years, took a test, got into a community college, did a semester of a community college, aced all the classes there, and then got into a private school. And then I had a 3.7 GPA in a private college as a high school dropout. I didn't even attend high school, right? Because I prefer to learn at my pace, and I prefer to learn what I want to learn, and I prefer to learn things that will improve the quality of my life. Most everything that they teach you in 12 years of schooling is not applicable to your personal life and not applicable to your professional life. And the saying that has been said over and over and over and over and over again as I was growing up was, they're teaching you many different things to make you a well-rounded citizen. Well, if you look around at the fruit, do we have well-rounded citizens? Do we have well-educated citizens? Do we have citizens that have good character, good virtue, good mastery over their thoughts, good mastery over their emotions? Are they free of addictions and suffering and pain? Do they know how to operate a household? Do they know how to practice active listening? Do they know how to ask intelligent questions? Do they know how to validate another person of where they're coming from? None of those skill sets are taught, but every single person can improve the quality of their lives by knowing and practicing those skill sets. Right? It's interesting. Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors of all time, I believe he got his degree in finance, his 4-year degree in finance, and he also took a Dale Carnegie course of how to win friends and influence people. And he says that course, which was a very short, couple week program, had more value to his personal life and to the bottom line of his businesses than his 4-year degree in finance. So he actually has his certificate of completion of the How to Win Friends and Influence People course in his office, not his college diploma, because he understands that. So it saddens me that there are many educators out there that want to empower their students and give their students information and wisdom that will transform their lives for the rest of their lives, but they're taught completely and utterly useless, silly garbage. Like, seriously, it's very, very disappointing. And there are charter schools. My son went to a charter school, and one of the projects that my son had was building a plane. Him and his co-students, right? Co-students, they spent an entire year building a plane. That's a practical skill. Maybe you're not going to be a plane mechanic, but that's a practical skill of like how to work with other people, how to follow simple instructions, how to check and recheck, how to do all these different things, versus sitting and listening about a war that happened 100 years ago that isn't going to have an impact in that person's life right then and there. And if you study the education system as to why we have the models that we have, they're extraordinarily outdated. And again, look at the fruit of the citizens of a country, and are they educated people? Are they kind people? Are they powerful people? Are they producing great results in the world and alleviating the suffering of humanity? The answer is no. We have to reevaluate. But there's no money in that. There's no money in teaching educated citizens is not the focus of most countries, unfortunately, which is the light aspect within each and every one of us. So that means we have to take our education into our own hands. We have to find the books. We have to find the mentors. We have to find the resources that will take us from where we are to where we want to be and go, you know what? I got my 12 years of education in the U.S. Didn't work out for me. Let me find a more appropriate channel. So that's why we jump on and we do what we do 3 days a week or 3 times a day here with the daily dose of divine light, divine love, and divine power. So love you guys very, very much. Have an amazing Saturday. We'll catch you later on. In the next 20 minutes, we're going to be doing the daily Twin Hearts meditation to bless and heal Mother Earth. So if you're going to be around in the next 20 minutes, for 20 minutes, love to have you on. Same place at 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time. Thank you guys very much. For those of you who need healing, go to ChristianRLong.com and schedule a healing session with me, and I look forward to serving you in the very, very near future. Atma, namaste. Bye-bye.